the scene of a stubborn fire burning in the woods of East Anchorage this afternoon. Channel 2's Mike Ross is live in the neighborhood closest to the fire. Mike?
Well, Steve, we're at the end of Piper Street near 48th Avenue. This has been the Anchorage Fire Department's staging area and command post for attacking this very stubborn fire this afternoon. Now, the fire broke out in the woods behind us about a quarter of a mile up the trail from Campbell Creek Park. Now, for a couple of hours this afternoon, this fire was really roaring. Even from where we are, we could see flames shooting up above the trees. Now, the fire department says the fire has burned about 5 acres so far. Firefighters had to run hoses up the trail to get water to the fire, and they even attacked the fire from the air with helicopters with water drops. It has been a very nerve-wracking afternoon for people living near the fire who are afraid this blaze might spread to their homes.
I'm really worried about it. I actually had my animals ready to evacuate my house. I mean, the flames were over the treetops, and quite honestly, it's more than worrisome. It's a serious problem.
It's pretty close to where you live. How do you feel about it being this close?
A little scary.
Scared, yeah.
We were out when we saw the smoke.
Coming up, it keeps getting darker.
And so we had to come home, make sure it wasn't our house, you know, because it's pretty close.
They can spread very rapidly depending on the wind speeds. As you can feel right now, there's gusty wind right now. Fortunately, this one is spreading away from homes, but this is just a good reminder of how dry these areas are and the potential for start a fire.
Now, just before 4 o'clock this afternoon, a state forestry department tanker plane that was brought in from Palmer made several passes over the fire. That big plane dropped several loads of fire retardant on the fire to try to knock it down and get it under control. Steve, several residents here in this neighborhood are telling us that they've complained for a while about some homeless camps right up the trail. The Anchorage Fire Department says at this point they are still investigating to see if any of those homeless people might have been responsible for setting this fire. At this point, they just don't know. As you can see behind us, the smoke has really died down. We're told there's still hot spots out in the area. Some smoke jumpers have been brought in from Palmer with axes and chainsaws to try to do some mop-up work. Not officially contained and under control, Steve, but they are making a lot of progress on this fire. And so far, no homes or structures have been damaged at any point.
And the fire department, obviously, Mike, putting the full court press on this fire. They obviously didn't want to see this thing get any larger than it did.
Well, they pulled out the big guns. They scrambled 11 fire units. They had a small army of Anchorage firefighters, brought in the forestry department spotter plane, helicopter, and even the tanker plane this afternoon. Again, the big concern, as we've always been worried about here in Anchorage, is one of these fires getting completely out of hand so close to populated areas. They were able to contain it to right around 5 acres, again, doing mop-up work at this point. And we want to reassure everyone from the fire department standpoint, they do feel they have a handle on this fire. But again, very scary afternoon for the people living in this area.
And you can see why when you look at the video shot by our photography crew today, that the size of those flames, they were shooting up so high up over the trees even. So you can understand why everybody was so concerned, Mike.
That's right, Steve. Several times, Phil, Kyle, and I, our photographers, saw the flames, shooting up over the trees, and it did cause a lot of concern among the residents here. Luckily, the wind was blowing away toward the mountains, and that, did give them a little peace of mind as they watched the firefighters attack this fire today.
Mike, thanks. Mike Ross out in Midtown, the scene of a brush fire tonight. We'll hear more from you at 6 o'clock tonight. Mike, thanks so much. Mike Ross. Senator Ted Stevens.